Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Monday, July 6th, 2015. Ra and Asha, Pan and Luce, here in the Lynn Body Mind, Black Wolf, Fritz, and Betty Jean in the Jamie Body Mind. So much has been happening in the last 24 hours that the details of our assignment are unclear.
That's true.
But what is clear is this, that we here at Team Awakening know to be true that a fresh start is needed. And to define our mission more tightly rather than more loosely can give propulsion to the work.
That's true.
We are in the process of shifting our definition from an assignment to trigger the awakening right now to an assignment to provide a collective restart right now. Our intention is to do what is ours to do in all dimensions right now, to provide a collective restart right now. And with that, it begins. I feel like I'm loose, and I am where I was when Ra and Black Wolf found me last night.
That's true.
In that ditch, very hurt and left for dead.
That's true.
And beyond the point of even remembering that any of you fine people exist.
That's true.
And I am being shown the films and backing up before that.
Yes.
And what I see before that, and I'm not saying this is the start, but before that what I see are what look like giant ants eating at my head.
That's
like
true.
I'm a bug dying and now ants
like a
are
dragonfly.
eating me.
That's true.
Right, like a dragonfly, and I'm too weak to get away from the ants.
That's
but
true.
the ants are eating me.
Alive. That's
Alive,
true.
and they're eating at my head.
That's true.
There were injuries to my head.
That's true.
This is just what ants do. They're just doing what they're
Programmed to do. That's true.
What now?
What now?
How may we be of service right now
now
to provide a collective restart right now?
Restart.
Fritz is working with the programming in Pan, guardian of
true.
the nature realms, because what's needed, what the situation calls for, is a different program.
That's true.
The nature realms hasn't really ever been programmed to consider the collective, the
That's
greater
true.
good. The nature realms programming has gone well beyond what's good for the individual and into survival of the species.
That's true.
So it's better
than most.
Most,
That's true.
it is. But it has not yet been extended to consider the greater good,
That's
the
true.
collective, the all that is, the
That's
oneness.
true.
And that seems to be where Fritz is working in Pan's programming right now. With
Yes,
Pan's
that's true.
permission, Pan is right here. I just have the microphone in front of me, and I really don't care much for the microphone or the camera.
That's true.
So if somebody else has the instruction to speak, please do take the microphone. I don't care for it much.
Yes, it's true. So Fritz is just reporting, and it looks like he's like in a spaceship. If you slide across the floor,
Yes,
underneath
I see
the
that.
floor, there's like a wire room, and I see him looking up out of the wire room, and he's like waving, like, bring the
Hi.
camera down here, bring the camera down here. And he's shining a flashlight on, and now there's like hallways of wires,
I
long
see it.
hallways of wires. And he's talking about nature realms wiring, how it's different than what he's ever worked with before because the wires grow.
They grow.
And they not just grow, but they evolve, and they evolve very quickly.
Oh, like the Caribbean anoles.
Exactly. Like the Caribbean anoles, so they can take on new traits in like a couple of generations, and the traits are so different that eventually they can go in the wrong direction so fast that it's hard to stop it from happening, and then the native species, quote unquote, get wiped out. And so he's showing like down at the base of the wire banks, he's like, so this wire here, this wire was headed in the right direction, native
see that.
species, kind of quote unquote, headed in the right direction, and then these ones that evolved faster grow over it, and then they become the dominant species, and they're going in the wrong direction, and then everything goes off course, and it can happen in a generation.
And that it's somehow, because it was disturbed,
Right.
those Caribbean anoles didn't ask to be transported to Florida.
Right.
They were on the bananas that were shipped here because they wanted to eat the bugs that were eating the bananas.
That's true.
So they just got here inadvertently.
Yeah, next thing they knew, in a strange land.
Right.
Right. So he's working with the wiring, and his perception is just take it all out. It's like when you have an area of yard that is so covered in invasives that it would take longer and be less effective to try and pick out what's native and what isn't than it's just to, okay, clear it. Pull it all out. Fresh dirt.
Fresh start.
Clear it.
Fresh start. And some often in those cases needing to burn it because
Right,
the
that's
seeds,
true.
everything, it just needs to be burned.
Burned.
Controlled burns
That's true.
are a recognized ecosphere management tool.
That's true. That seems to be the direction he's heading in.
Well, merge, stretch, and burn.
That's true.
I'm seeing that big room, the big room with that big loose, that teenage boy who's built a huge, enormous, I'm
Like,
calling it Lego
It
structure.
is like an enormous Lego structure. It takes up his whole bedroom.
And that has taken him
Years.
a lifetime to build,
That's true.
basically. And that he now knows so much more about how to build an enormous Lego structure than he did before he began.
That's true.
And that he would build it completely differently. He didn't build it with the right foundation. He
That's
didn't
true.
realize he was going to be building an enormous Lego structure when he began.
No, that's true.
It's like he's saying, what's that burning smell?
That's true. And I see him holding the can of ant poison.
The corner of his room he didn't go into much, and so it's
That's
covered
true.
with dust. And
That's true.
poor Luce was there, got dragged in there is how it feels.
That's true.
And then
yeah.
left for dead, and ants are eating his brain.
That's true. And I realized that Big Loose never took down that corner of the room because he knows if you take down that corner, there's support for the rest of the structure is
Shaky.
shaky. And so he just left it up because he figured it was better to have something standing and supporting everything else than it
True.
was to take out what clearly didn't work.
True. Well, we tried it that way for a really good
We
long
gave it a shot.
time, and
A really good shot.
that experiment has proven itself to be a bad idea.
That's true.
And so we now know that we just have to take this down.
Just have to do it.
And but to clean everything and
That's
label
true.
everything and put it into kits or in such a way that makes sense and
Right.
document everything,
That's true.
not just the way it was done, but the way you would do
it
again
again.
now that you know what you know.
That's true.
And just
Because
take
what we're going
a
for
really
is
thorough brain dump right now.
That's
as
true.
you are taking it down. Write down every single thought that occurs.
That's true.
It may be valid and it may be unhelpful, but if you don't record it, you won't be able to retrieve it
That's
later
true.
on. Write it down.
That's true. He's definitely homeschooled, and it feels like his mom is saying, like, oh, this would be a good project for you.
Yes,
You can work on this
exactly.
during your free time in the afternoons.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not free time, it's like independent study
Yeah,
time.
independent study
Yes,
time.
this can be your independent study. Maybe it always has been one of his independent study projects.
That's
And
true.
it does teach a lot of things.
Yeah,
Physics,
it's true.
etc.
Geometry.
That's right. That's how those ants got here. The
Ant
science.
farm.
Yes, an ant farm.
That's true. Which seemed like a really good idea in
It
theory.
did seem like a good idea. In retrospect, it was a poor choice.
That's true. How may we be of service?
Right now, to provide a collective restart.
Right now.
I need to let him know where the worst of the worst is.
That's
I
true.
feel like I am loose the size of the rest of us and
That's
speaking
true.
to that very large presence
That's
who...
true. We're like his action figures.
Yes, and maybe he's a higher soul of mine. I
That's
don't
my
know.
story.
I don't know. He definitely feels like me.
That's true.
I know where the worst part is, and he hasn't come across it yet. He thinks he has gotten the ant nest, but he doesn't have the queen. I know where it is. I know where it is. If your goal is to get the ant nest out of your room, you're going to have to get the queen.
That's true.
And that's where the queen is, in there.
That's true.
The stories, he can hear the thought or feel the thought.
What it looks kind of like is that we've angled our bodies in such a way that the sun hits like the chest plate and it reflects and bounces light into that corner, and he's noticed the light in the corner.
Oh, like the light that was hitting the little oak tree.
Exactly.
Yes, that's right. Go there and take off the top of that. He's going to be horrified.
Yeah, I see him pulling off the top.
He's going to be horrified. It's like huge.
Holy moly! Yeah.
And there's the storehouse of the eggs.
Holy moly! This is a much bigger
like
problem than he thought it was.
1,000 times more.
He thought it was just a couple of ants crawling around.
Right. Right there. There's your problem. My story is that Pan is straightening up.
That's true.
And Pan wants the programming of what's good for the collective.
That's true.
He can see how this programming is flawed.
Yes.
Well, that's a flaw. What's good for the collective needs to be added. It's like adding that one concept to the corporate charter could make all the difference in the world.
That's true.
Say, and do nothing that harms the greater good.
That's true.
That would stop most corporate activities.
Right, that's true. Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Big loose. So take photos of this big ant infestation, because if you're looking to show how not to do something, this is something that can go wrong and did go wrong. Take photos of it.
Take photos of everything.
Take photos of everything.
What would be ideal, actually, is if you have a video camera that you can set up to just have it run. And that way everything's on video.
That's true.
I feel like he's shouting, "Mom, can you set up the video camera?"
Yeah, that's
You'll
true.
have to work the footage.
That's true.
But you can get more done tonight before you sleep. You don't want to sleep in a room that has ants
in it. No.
Which you've been doing for probably years now.
That's true.
And that explains those little
red bumps.
Right.
That's true.
I feel like I'm putting those, it's like a cuff that people put around their arms after they've had some kind of surgery to prevent the blood from backing up.
Yeah.
And I'm putting them, I feel like I'm loose and putting them around my channels to keep them going up.
That's true. That's true.
While this is healing, while I'm recuperating. I also feel like there's icky in my brain from the ants chewing on it.
That's true.
And to use combs.
Combs, yeah.
Get the icky out.
Get the icky out.
And it might be little maggoty things or even ant eggs or something.
It's true.
And bifurcate all those who are actively working to provide a collective restart right now to the center. And grace is allowed. We can play the grace.
That's true.
And all others flung away. And probably what this will do is sort for those who want to be working, whether or not they actually are, right?
That's true.
What this will do is sort out the ones who know the koan stands.
That's true.